Jadi, tidak akan ada yang tampil untuk Donald Trump, ya? Siapa di antara kalian yang akan menjadi orang pertama yang melakukannya? Aku menunggu, aku akan mengolok-olok salah satu dari kalian, Paman Tom asik, karena melakukannya. Siapa di antara kalian yang akan melakukannya terlebih dahulu? Dia tampil di Crypto Ball sebagai bagian dari akhir pekan pelantikan untuk Donald J. Snoop benar-benar lucu. Seperti, dia
melakukan semua hal ini.
Snoop Dogg just got hit with a warning, and not from the feds. Not from some rival rapper, but straight from Katt Williams himself. Yeah, that Katt Williams, the man who never bites his tongue, the one who speaks truth even when it burns bridges. This time, he's coming for Snoop, accusing him of flipping sides, of going political, or as Katt put it, becoming a political dog. He said, "Your career down the road, people might not want to book you in Texas, Arizona, or California. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Let's let that happen." And when Katt drops a warning, it's not for clicks, it's because something's up. See, Katt doesn't talk just a trend. He talks when he's got a message, and according to him, Snoop's walking a fine line between loyalty and leverage. A dangerous game where power, politics, and truth start blending until nobody knows what's real anymore. And lately, Katt's been on a scorched earth run, calling out the entire Hollywood machine, dragging everyone from Steve Harvey to Cedric to D.L. Hughley. No filters, no fear, no mercy. But this time, when he said Snoop Dogg's name, the internet froze. Because Snoop isn't just any celebrity, he's hip-hop royalty. He's the bridge between gangster rap and global fame. The man who went from death row to Martha Stewart, from Compton Corners to the White House lawn. So when Katt comes for someone like that, it's not beef, it's a statement. Something deeper is brewing, and Snoop's right in the middle of it.
Mengatakan ini sebentar, kawan, saya tidak tahu apa-apa tentang politik kalian semua yang bekerja untuk pemerintah federal yang tidak dibayar sekarang. Tidak mungkin kalian bisa memilih Donald Trump saat dia kembali menjabat. Jika ya, jika kalian memilihnya, kalian semua adalah ibu-ibu bodoh.
Dilantik sebagai Presiden Amerika Serikat ke-47, Snoop Dogg tampil di Crypto Ball. Sekarang, Snoop Dogg, dia mendapat reaksi keras karena orang-orang seperti, tunggu, ini bukan Snoop yang sama dari tahun 2016 yang banyak bicara tentang artis yang tampil.
Snoop's always been a survivor, but according to Katt Williams, somewhere along the way, the real Snoop disappeared. Katt didn't sugarcoat a thing. His message was sharp. Snoop Dogg ain't the same Snoop no more. He accused him of switching sides, going from representing the people to representing the powerful. In Katt's words, Snoop's turned into a political dog, a man who only barks when the system gives him permission. And honestly, when you look at Snoop today, you can see where Katt's coming from. Because this isn't the same Snoop from Murder Was the Case. This isn't Death Row Snoop. This isn't the dog who ran with Pac. This is the Snoop who's friend with Martha Stewart, selling pet food and insurance, and doing photo ops with politicians. To Katt, that's not evolution, that's betrayal. Snoop tried to defend himself after facing backlash for performing at a Trump event, saying the community's biggest issue isn't division from outsiders, it's how we tear each other down from within. He said, "We're always attacking us." But Katt, and a lot of fans, aren't buying it. Because it's not the people tearing down affirmative action. It's not the people dismantling DEI or ripping apart families. It's the powerful, the same people Snoop now aligns with. That's why so many feel disappointed. They saw Snoop as a voice for the people, not someone rubbing shoulders with their oppressors. And just when things got heated, Snoop clapped back in classic Uncle Snoop fashion, cracking jokes instead of taking offense. Katt Williams, when they start selling Pim clothes at Baby Gap, he said, mocking Katt for his small frame and sippy cup Hennessy. But behind the jokes, Katt's respect for Snoop never disappeared. He's always credited him as a legend, a pioneer who brought gangster culture to mainstream America. But in Katt's eyes, the problem is clear. Snoop forgot what made him iconic. The authenticity, the rebellion, the voice that once challenged the system, not catered to it. See, when Katt calls him a political dog, it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's about spiritual politics. It's about trading your truth for status, your rebellion for relevance. Katt saying Snoop's gotten too cozy with the same people he once stood against. The same elites he used to roast are now sitting next to him at charity balls and corporate dinners. And in a world where truth tellers are getting quieter every day, Katt refuses to play along. His putting names on record, no matter who it offends. But to really understand this tension, you got to rewind the clock. Early 2000 Snoop Dogg was untouchable, the ultimate survivor. He'd escaped the chaos of death row, rebuilt himself as a mogul, and earned respect from everyone from Jay-Z to Ice Cube. He was a blueprint for reinvention, but somewhere between the fame, the politics, and the power plays, Katt says the dog got tamed. He used to be the mentor, the big uncle of hip-hop. But somewhere along the way, things started shifting. Snoop began popping up at political events, making statements that felt strategic. He'd defend certain celebrities while staying silent on others. He'd endorse brands, politicians, and causes that didn't align with the Snoop fans grew up with. And to someone like Katt Williams, that was the first red flag. Katt's always said, when they can't control you, they cancel you. But when they can't cancel you, they recruit you. And in his eyes, Snoop got recruited. The real tension sparked when Katt started noticing Snoop's selective silence. When artists were getting blackballed, Snoop stayed neutral. When others exposed Hollywood's dark side, Snoop played peacemaker. When exploitation came up, silence. But when it was time to toast the industry, Snoop was front row, smiling wide. To Katt, that looked less like loyalty and more like self-preservation. So when he said, "I'm sending Snoop his last warning, stop being political dog," it wasn't just a diss. It was a direct challenge to a man he once respected. In Katt's world, there are two kinds of dogs. The street dog, loyal, fearless, and raw. And the political dog, polished, obedient, and trained. Katt says Snoop used to be the first kind, wild, real, unpredictable. But now, he's acting like the second. A man programmed to protect the system instead of the streets. And honestly, it's hard to argue. Snoop's on TV more than he's in the booth. He's cooking with Martha instead of feeding the block. He's selling products instead of purpose. Katt's not against growth. He's asking what kind of growth this really is. Did Snoop grow as a man, or just as a brand? Because one thing about Katt, he's never bowed to the machine. He's been arrested, blackballed, banned, mocked, and he still never switched up. That's why people believe him. He doesn't owe Hollywood a damn thing. So when he calls out Snoop, it hits different. He's not afraid to lose money, fame, or connections. The only thing that scares him is what happens when truth-tellers start staying quiet. And here's the twist. This isn't some random beef. There's history between these two. Both West Coast legends, both street certified, both respected by their lanes. Snoop always showed Katt love back in the day. They shared stages, radio sets, and interviews in the early 2000s. But over time, something changed. Katt noticed Snoop defending the same Hollywood names Katt was calling out: Steve Harvey, Cedric, D.L. Hughley. And Snoop, he stayed smiling next to them. That's when Katt drew the line. He said, "You can't claim the people while shaking hands with their puppeteers." And let's be real, this ain't the first time people questioned Snoop's loyalty. Back in the death row era, he was ride or die for the streets. But after Pac's death, he flipped from Suge to new alliances. Then came No Limit, then corporate Snoop, then Hollywood Snoop. He's reinvented himself more times than any rapper alive, and that's why he survived. But it's also why some stopped trusting him. Katt's not mad at his success. He's questioning his soul. He's saying, "You used to lead us. Now you follow them." And while Snoop stayed quiet so far, the internet hasn't. The debate split right down the middle. Half the people say Katt's just bitter, jealous of Snoop's mainstream shine. The other half, they are saying Katt's just brave enough to say what everyone else is thinking. Half the internet says Snoop's just evolving, doing what any smart businessman does to survive. But the other half, they swear Katt's the only one brave enough to say what everyone's been whispering. That Snoop's been straddling the fence for years, talking real but living corporate, preaching loyalty but moving with whoever cuts the biggest check. And honestly, both sides might have a point. Because this isn't just a feud, it's a clash between fame and authenticity. Snoop represents survival, the man who beat the system and built a legacy. Katt represents rebellion, the man who'd rather burn the system down than bow to it. Two sides of the same coin, two legends with two very different codes. One plays the game, the other exposes it. And right now, Katt's saying Snoop's played the game so long, he might never come out clean. But when Katt says last warning, it doesn't sound like internet talk. It sounds like something real is coming. Some fans think Katt's warning Snoop about karma, the cost of losing your purpose for politics. Others believe it's about playing both sides too long, until both sides turn on you. And then there are those who think Katt's just fed up with watching legends he once respected become puppets for power. He said it best: the moment you stop talking for the people stop talking for you. That's what is telling Snoop, that no matter how rich or famous you get, if the streets don't feel you, you've already lost. And maybe that's why this hit so personal. Because Katt's not just talking to Snoop, he's talking to every entertainer who's forgotten where they came from. Don't let them turn you into something you're not. That's a message beneath the smoke. Because once you lose your voice, the system doesn't need you anymore. And Snoop's career proves how tricky that balance can be. He's been everything: gangster, icon, mogul, peacemaker, comedian, and has done it all flawlessly. But with every smooth move, one question gets louder. Has he become too polished for the people who made him? The Snoop who once yelled at the system now sits beside it, laughing on talk shows. And that's what Katt can't stomach. Still, you can't deny what Snoop's done for the culture. He built the West Coast, mentored artists, gave back to his hood, and stayed out of scandals. But in a world built on chaos, calm looks suspicious. And Katt, he is chaos. So when he sees Snoop's calm, he doesn't see peace. He sees compliance. This story is far from over. Katt doesn't do quiet warnings. When he says last one, he means it. And if Snoop even hints at a response, Katt's coming 10 times harder. Because this isn't just Hollywood beef, it's truth versus tolerance. The rebel versus the ruler. 2 kings, 2 roads, 1 spotlight. And that's what makes it legendary. Katt Williams stands for the people, raw, real, and unapologetic. Snoop stands for the dream, the man who made it and stayed there. Both started real. Both changed the game. But only one refuses to play it. And in Katt's eyes, that's the difference. So what happens now? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Because in this business, silence isn't peace, it's power. If Snoop stays quiet, that says more than words ever could. This is Buzz and Drama, where we peel back the layer behind the fame. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me below, did Snoop sell out, or is Katt just tired of fighting a game that can't be won? One thing's for sure, when Katt Williams says, "This is your last warning," he's not joking.